every man immediately. That would be absurd.
Right.
That's not a personal attack.
Right.
It's just an objective
but women
fact.
do sleep with men faster that they like.
Generally speaking, I think the same thing with men. They generally will try to sleep with women faster if they like them.
How would a guy know the difference between a girl that's using him for resources, or like just trying to use him for the lifelong provisioning, or that actually likes him?
Well, every woman is going to be utilizing men to some degree for resources, and historically always has. The idea, though, that you can't mitigate these risks by taking a look at the entirety of their social media, doing a little social stalking, which is you're just looking around at their connections and things like this in order to see what the general trend is. You can basically determine this fairly quickly. In fact, men have become so savvy to this in the dating market, they're beginning the high rates of rejection now, where they're like, nope.
So there's no women that at all could mitigate any of this. I mean, the biggest hoes that I knew in school had pretty much no digital footprint, no social media, none.
Well, I mean, that's
it's like a strategy actually, because they want to get they want to get around. And
well, it's really difficult now. Well, then, even if that was the case,
like a small private,
I would just put that as another red flag. Oh, you have no social media presence? Nah, maybe that's another red flag.
But wouldn't you say that women are developing new strategies every year to get around some of totally? But don't you think that some of the men that you're suggesting this to are going to get got? Just balance of probabilities.
Yeah, but no matter what conditionals we make in society, some men are going to get got. There's nothing you can do about that ever. Doesn't matter if you had the perfect utopia, some men are going to get got.
Okay, so what percent, going through all these strategies, what percent of men do you think will get got?
I think that you could lower the risk.
0%?
I think you can lower the risk mitigation down to somewhere around 15 to 20%, which is what we see in these types of elongated Christian marriages.
So you think about 20% of men will get got?
I think that all 20% of men have always gotten got. And there's a damn thing you can do about it.
But why would a man take that deal?
Because they want to have a family like they've always wanted to.
Right. But, and do you think that if people stay married, that's automatically a successful marriage if they just don't divorce?
No, that wouldn't always meet the criteria for successful marriage.
So,
right. But hang on, by the same logic, you would have to agree then that not every time women want to get divorced, it's unjustified.
True. I agree.
So if that's the case, then you have an equal wash there. So the idea here is, what do we want for a stabilized society, which makes sense, right? For men to have maximum happiness. It seems to be marriage.
Right, but you're switching it back to what's in it for society, and I keep trying to stick to what's in it for the individual.
Men are society.
Right.
Men run society.
Do you really think that a 20% failure rate, where a woman could potentially really ruin his life for 18 years. I mean, I've talked to a good percentage.
Well, what failure rate's acceptable? 1%?
I think one is too many. When you have a quarter when you have a quarter of men raising kids that aren't theirs,
that's just utopian.
I think one time that happens is too many.
That's utopian. That's literally utopian thinking. Well, so if there's ever a case that a man can get got, then you would just recommend it. It's so silly. That's utopianism. That's impossible. It's like saying no men should ever drive cars because they might get in a wreck. It's like, it's going to happen.
I wouldn't say that's the same, because I would say a car wreck, it is not likely that you're going to be enslaved to that car for 18 years. And I think maybe I just have a different point of view, because I've seen men on the brink of suicide, Andrew, and I've seen men I've told you this story before. One of the worst divorce stories I ever saw was a guy that took pretty much your advice. Okay.
Which was what? What's my advice?
What you say. He waited till marriage. He met a girl in a Latin Catholic mass church.
Yep.
He had the temperament. He thought she was the right person. And it was actually really difficult. She took his kid. She was actually Eastern European. So she was Eastern Europe. So she was actually raised to be a wife, and she came to the US. He met her in California. Yeah. And she stole the kid and took him back. She won custody. She took him back. And he spent $300,000 trying to get her back. He went into a war zone trying to get his kid.
Yeah.
Now the kid is 6. He hasn't seen him in years. The kid doesn't recognize him, and he speaks Russian. How is he happy?
Yeah, but
I know, and it's
thing.
easy. I think it's easy maybe for you to like wave it away and just say, well,
I'm not waving it away. That's horrible.
Men,
it's absolutely horrible.
Men, it doesn't matter. Like, don't even think about that risk. But what I've seen.
Think about that risk.
Right. But you're saying, but do it anyway. And I'm saying I can't tell you what to do, because that is an astronomical risk that I understand if you as a man don't want to take that. I completely understand. Another issue.
So here's the alternative.
Can you let me finish? So another issue too is like the waiting till marriage. I mean, you go on monologues too a lot too.
Not long, because you cut in every 5 seconds.
The other thing is 1 out of 3 women have STDs. So you could
of sex work.
No, not necessarily.
We can look at the height of the promiscuity. The sexual revolution wasn't even close. Wasn't even close.
Yeah, but a lot of normal women have STDs too. They do.
And they always have.
True.
So do men. They usually get it from men during promiscuous sex as well.
Right, but that's back to the what about the men though? We're talking about.
It's not what about the men. I'm just giving an accounting for this, for how this works. STDs would be a good idea for not having promiscuous sex. But if your idea is like, because some men are going to have catastrophic results and we can never mitigate that. I don't care what society you're in, ever. You're not going to be able to mitigate that some men are going to have catastrophic results. That instead they should use women, basically, and women them for purely sexual hedonistic needs. If that's the case, then the very ideology of like, look at all these STDs, that explodes under that same ideology. That's like silly. It's counterproductive.
Well, under your strategy, they could marry a woman with herpes.
Under your strategy, they're going to get herpes anyway.
Not really, because if you wear a condom, it's less than 1% of men.
Then why are they exploding?
They're exploding because men and women aren't wearing condoms. But if you wear a condom, it's not the likelihood of you getting something, especially as a guy, is pretty low.
So men are just stupid, don't know how to wear condoms, or?
I mean, some men, they really should.
Yeah. I don't think so. I think that,
to be honest, I mean, a lot of guys, they don't.
What's happened is promiscuity, especially in the sex industry, where STDs are 10 times higher, has now been gravitating towards women's bedrooms on OnlyFans and things like this. They have a continuous chain of men who come in they're promiscuous with, and this has exploded the STD rate. And by the way, I can prove this because in every Western nation where sex work can be done from the home, you see these explosive rates generally in the areas where there's the most amount of sex workers, it gravitates out.
You think it's all sex work? It's not the women in college?
No, there's always been STDs, of course, that have been in the general public. I'm not talking about the accounting for the explosion in them.
Right, but you don't think it's common on, say, college campuses for STDs to go around?
Of course, but that's always been the case on college campuses.
Right. But saying that's always, I'm trying to operate in today, not the past, right?
Yeah, but I'm trying to give you a prism so that, because you're acting like this stuff is new, or that that risk mitigation is somehow new. This has always been the case that men had to mitigate risk when it came to marriage. You're only talking about the selection of, well, you could get really fucked by the courts, which is true, and that the courts are biased towards women, which is true. I'm giving prescriptors for how we begin the process of changing those things. Whereas what you do is you act as though these are brand new societal issues when they're actually not brand new societal issues.
No, I operate in today, so I try to focus on what's going on now. And
but can't you look to the past for prescriptors?
Right, but why not if it doesn't matter?
It matters.
Okay, well,
or we can't get prescriptors. We can't get prescriptors of the future unless we look at societies which worked.
Right, but societies that don't exist today, that are different than today. I have to operate in I have to operate. I'm not a lawmaker, so I have to operate in the society we have today.
Yeah, you're not a lawmaker, you're an influencer. So you influence people into lawmaking, or influence people towards laws, or you influence them towards better behaviors, or things like this.
I think influencers that think they have that kind of sway and power are just as delusional as the women that think that they're going to get a man that makes like $5 million a year. That's my belief.
Yeah. So
you may you may think different. That's just what I think. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party seem to disagree. They're buying up influencers left and right all over the country, and it seems to be swaying a lot of localized elections. So I think influencers must have some kind of, influence right? Otherwise, why is it that the political arms of the various parties are doing everything they can to get them under their wig? So ultimately, I think when we're talking about your kind of descriptive world, again, I don't even disagree with a lot of these descriptions, but if we apply Pearl Davis's descriptions, which do sound more prescriptive, why should men do X, right?
Well,
it's like, okay, well, here's why. And then you say, but here's the risk for that. Okay, I agree there's the risk for that. Well, now what? I don't know. Is that it? Just like, I don't know.
If a product is good, then people are lining up to buy it. And so what you're doing is you're saying, no, there's no risk. Men are lining up to buy this, but the stats just don't say that. They don't. So if you're right, then
well, first of all, I reject your scripts.
If you're right, then the marriage rate will go up, and traditionalism will return. I hope you're right.
Yeah, but don't you understand that the posit of your framing is completely rejected by me? I'm not one of these guys who's making these crazy advocations for, hey, bro, just take the plunge, bro, and hopefully things will work out, bro. That's the Con Inc. guys who are saying, oh, this is all men's fault, this and that. I'm talking about prescriptive mitigations to try to fix the issues in marriage, the very thing men are screaming that they want more than anything. And you just say, well, kind of just do what you want. Here's the information. Good luck. It's like, okay, you can do that. But then in what account can you ever criticize any of those guys in the Con Inc. party who give prescriptions? How can you ever do that if you don't give a counter prescription?
Well, if their prescriptions are leading men to their death and men are 9 times more likely to commit suicide because they don't warn them, I can criticize them.
Then what should they do instead, Pearl? What should they do instead, Pearl?
I think they should make an informed decision. Because I think they should make an informed decision. Why is a man immoral if he doesn't choose to get married? That's not
immoral.
Okay, so then why are you arguing with me?
Yeah, well, the argument here is about men's happiness and what they get, right? Not about whether or not it's moral if they get married or not. I'm not saying it's immoral for men to not get married.
I could be, okay, then what's the disagreement? Then why do you care?
The disagreement is on the prescription of why it is that
I didn't give a prescription.
Marriage, well, here's the disagreement. I'm trying to explain it to you. I'm not saying that it's immoral for men to not get married. I am interested in the happiness and longevity of men and their overall wellness, well-being, and health in the society I have to live in, because I count on them to provide the security. I count on them to provide all luxury. I count on them to build all infrastructure. And so if men aren't doing well, none of us are doing well. And so if we're going to associate these problems, and Con Inc. says, well, just take the plunge because society continues to go, and Pearl Davis says men can just do whatever the fuck they want, then it's like, well, then how do you criticize anything prescriptively? How do we get anywhere prescriptively? It makes no sense to me.
Do you think men should do what you want?
I think that if prescriptively you move towards the type of society I advocate for, I think, yes, the wellness of men would do way better.
So men should do what you want and not what they want.
No, they should do prescriptively what's best for men.
Okay.
That's not. Now, that is true that I'm aligned with that. Okay. But that's not doing what I want. That's doing what's in their best interest.
Okay. So men should listen to you and not what they want for their life, but what you want for their life.
Well, what did I just say? I just said that
according to
what they want for their life is happiness, so, and if I want for my life happiness also, and if we have a combined belief on the prescriptive things that would make us happy, then that's what men, including me, should move towards.
So you're saying I read these stats, I read these studies. Now do what I say because I read these studies.
Go on, and Pearl Davis is doing the same thing. I read these stats and studies, and everything's really bad for men. So, I mean, if you want to take the plunge to 20%, you might get fucked here. And is it really worth it? I'm not sure it's worth it.
I say you're a man. It's your house. You get to do what you want in your house. That's out of order. I'm not going to tell a man what to do.
Well, you're not telling them what to do, but you can still. Isn't it true that you can offer up prescriptions in society which are good for society and good for men without telling men that they need to do those prescriptions? Like, hey, prescriptively, if we did X, that might be really good for men. That doesn't mean you're telling men what to do.
I can give my opinion if somebody asks, but that's not my job. I'm here to, did you lower the volume a little bit? I don't know why I can hear him less now. No? Could you talk again?
Testing.
Could you turn up my mic or like my headphones just like a little bit? Sorry. But then you wouldn't say you should do it. You would say you could. But once you get into then you're saying this is what you should do.
I would say any prescription,
that's
going to be good for the
better.
overall health of men, they should be moving towards that. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so if it was moving towards the overall health of men, it would be an easy sell and men would do it.
And that, well, no, not necessarily. Men have gone along with lots of different things, which were an easy sell because they were misled or they had bad information or collectively from the society. Like, here's an easy one. Men go off to war. They go off to literal war when they get drafted. And that has been an easy sell, but it definitely was not good for men.
What is this? I think it might be here. Sorry. It's like buzzing now a little bit. Okay, sorry. So you're saying that men, well, yeah, but men in reward for protecting the country, they got a family that actually stayed together. But today that's not the norm.
No, they didn't. In the Vietnam War, they didn't get that. That's not the case. They got that maybe post-World War II. They weren't getting it after Korea. They weren't getting it after Vietnam. They're drafted for both wars. They weren't coming home to a family. They're coming home getting spit on, literally spit on.
Right,
and the thing is like, yes, men can be tricked collectively into doing things that are really bad for men's health. But the idea here that we should not be prescriptively
do you think they
trying,
did it because it was like an adventure? That's probably why, right? Like,
no, they didn't just want to go on an adventure. They did it for honor.
Yeah. I mean, and
honor.
I would say at one point society rewarded them for it. Like now white men are the least likely to be in the military, or it's like the lowest numbers in years. Like men are dropping out of the military because they don't see what's in it for them anymore. And you know, it's interesting. I think this like
yeah, well, that's because there's no honor.
I think it's an interesting like sell what you're trying to do. Meet the women, wait till marriage for a woman that's not, pay a higher price than a previous guy, and you'll be married for life. I hope, men, if you want to,
that's not. So this is again, this is very
if you guys want to, if you guys want to do that,
Pearl framing.
If you want to do,
that's not actually what I said. I'm offering only an alternative to black pill. And what am I saying?
Okay.
The same thing you are. Men should be gravitating towards things which are good and healthy for men. Men are gravitating towards families because they want them.
But
if they didn't want them, they wouldn't be having them.
Who has more information on what makes a man happy? You or him? Like an individual man watching your stream.
This will be trivially true about any human being on earth.
So each man has more information to make decisions in his life than you do, right?
Well, no, that's not always the case. But I would say, generally speaking, people tend to think or know what makes them happier than some guy they don't know. Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if I want to use. Can I use you as an example, but not say your name? Can I use you? Yeah, I can. Okay. So my producer's watching now, right?
Yeah.
He's listened to me talk. Now he's listening to you for the first time, and he's hearing your strategies for marriage, right? Who has more information on how he should make a decision moving forward in his relationships, you or him?
Yeah. So obviously him, but I'll also have more information probably on what's better for his relationships than you. Because I'm a man.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
But so who should make the decision? Should he listen to your advice or should he listen to himself? What he thinks is best?
Well, so I would say that you also have to take into account that there's social responsibilities and honor that men have, duties that they're supposed to gravitate towards. There are actual duties men have to gravitate towards.
This is just like nagging the duty. Okay. Well, what does he get?
You don't think men don't have duties?
What does he? I mean, why would you do something?
Like men should just do nothing, or what?
Right, well, why should they work hard for a society that doesn't reward them? I have no problem.
I think that society should reward men for hard work.
But it doesn't.
Yeah, but it does. It does actually reward men for hard work. It doesn't always reward men for hard work with a family, though. That's not the reward societies have ever given men. Men have to procure their own stake for families. Men have rewarded
military members the last 50 years? They have?
Yes.
Sure. Then
Society has rewarded military members over the last 50 years. Yes.
Really?
There's more. During the Iraq War, for instance, there was a lot of honor that came back to the uniform. And then post that, now there's less.
More men have committed suicide than all of the last... more soldiers have committed suicide in the last 50 years than all of the world wars combined.
Yeah.
So society rewarded them?
No, that's not a social societal issue of society trying to punish them.
Right.
Iraqi war veterans were not getting spit on like Vietnam war veterans. Some of them maybe, but it
Well,
wasn't the same type of contextual
I guess if
information.
society isn't
Here's why
spitting
this
on them.
happened. This happened because of the tour. So it used to be that soldiers were cycled out after one tour. What happened during the Iraq war and Afghanistan wars, they were going back for 4, 5, 6 tours. They were completely broken. This was something the military has recognized multiple times. Society itself, though, demanded that these wars be stopped. Ultimately, they demanded it. That's why they put Trump in. When you're talking about the social duties and responsibilities of men, it is a fact of the matter they do have them. The idea here, though,
do you think that
this means that society rewards men with a family?
The monologue, is it going to end? Is it going to end? Okay, you're doing that to me, so I gotta,
Yeah. Fair enough.
So, do you think that men have been respected the last 50 years and honored in society?
No, that's not. I didn't say that. Okay. We're talking about the military, a specific example.
Okay, but in general, do men get respect?
No, I think that men have been completely and totally disrespected as a bygone pieces of garbage.
Right.
The entire idea here is to try to change that.
Right. But
right?
you would understand the rationale for a guy that just says fuck it, right? Because society doesn't reward him.
So here we can maybe come to some agreement. Do I understand the rationale? Yes. Oh yes, I understand the rationale completely. Does that mean that that's good for men though? No.
Okay.
And clearly it does. It clearly can't be because you say it can't be by your own logic.
But you know what's best for an individual.
No. You actually just gave the prescription. It's pretty great. You just said, well, so society is shitting all over men, and that's really bad for men, right, Andrew? Yeah, I want to change that. And you go, but wait a second. So you think you know what's best for men? It's like, well, if we both agree that society shitting on men is bad, then it appears we both think we know what's best for men. That society shouldn't shit on them. They wouldn't like that, right?
Right, but I don't predict it'll stop. I wouldn't predict that it would change.
Well, I can predict it'll never stop if we don't try to do anything about it.
Well,
I can make a 100% prediction it'll never stop if we don't try to do anything about it.
Then run for office, right? Go ahead.
Well, you don't just need to run for office. What you need to do is influence people who are in office. That's the main thing. People forget. See, NGOs and it's the lobbyists who ultimately are going to be able to make these influences for change.
All right. In the next year, what changes can I expect policy-wise?
Probably not much.
That'll affect. Okay. So my producer has to make a decision in the next year. What's he going to do?
Yeah. So
he has to make. Should he look at the history? Yeah. Should he look at what might happen in the future?
Yeah. So if your producer is going to make a decision on marriage in the next year, I'd give him the same advice any rational human being would ever have. Great. You want to get married? Make sure all of your risks are as mitigated as you can possibly make them so that you can move towards family like men have always historically done and are now getting much better at. And then on top of that, Mr. Producer, you can expect within the next few years that you're going to start seeing even more changes in the marriage court. And here's my proof. The number of kids living with their fathers has quadrupled from 68 to 2020 due to men's rights advocacy groups. That seems to be good for men. They can get access to their kids. Quadrupled, Pearl.
What do you think's going to affect my producer or someone similar to him more? Do you think you saying like these stats, or do you think what he's seen in real life is going to affect his decision making and what he thinks more?
People generally, I think, intuitively go off of experience first, and then they mitigate, but they often mitigate experience when they start looking for answers for why things they've experienced have sucked. So like, bad thing happens, and I hate it, and so intuitively, I don't want anything to do with this again, but then you start looking for answers for why bad thing happened.
You listing stats and shaming men is not going
no, I'm
to
doing
make.
It. You're shaming men.
I'm not. Is
yeah, that's a shaming tactic. I'm telling you.
And is not going to make men want to get married, and it's not going to make them not believe what they have seen.
How is it shaming men to tell men I care a lot about men's health more than anything else and would really like to see influencers start moving towards prescriptions so that they live happier lives? How in the fucking world could you ever say in a million years that that's a shaming tactic?
Okay, sure, you're not. Sure.
I mean, how? Like, how do you make that step? Now, I would say, on the other hand,
you're shaming men for you shame men for sleeping around.
It's impossible, guys. You're way too fucking stupid to understand the system.
You shame men for not living the way that you want them to live.
No,
By
I'm
saying
not
you
shaming.
call them, you
I'm
do.
not telling
You
men
do.
they have to live how I want to live.
You call them
I'm telling,
degenerates. You call them degenerates.
well, yeah, if they're gays, they're degenerate, aren't they, Pearl?
Okay, well, no, you call them degenerates if they sleep around.
Yeah, if they're highly promiscuous, I consider that to be
Okay.
degeneracy.
Okay,
but
so
I
what
still, even
about-
for those degenerate men,
Okay.
want the best
Right,
for
right,
health and resources for those men
So
too.
what about men that just want to live with a woman for 10 years and have sex first? Are they
Terrible idea.
Oh,
Horrible
they're
idea by
degenerate?
every single metric.
But,
Yeah, totally.
okay, but-
totally degenerate. And it's a terrible idea.
Sure. But a better idea is to wait till marriage and give a woman the ultimate honor that you could ever give a woman. And she
In the comparison of those two situations?
She doesn't even have to have sex with you to get it.
They don't have to have sex with you if you live with them either. What's your point?
Well,
like they don't have to have sex in that situation either. And when you're looking at the fact that living with a woman long term without marrying her, you end up anyway with these ideas of like common law marriage. You can still get taken in the ringer on that. The other alternative there is that the children are generally going to have terrible outcomes. Between those two choices, absolutely, I would prescribe that marriage is better than those. Even bad marriage would be better than those.
Okay. Yeah. So again, that's a tough sell. I mean, maybe the men in the audience will buy it, right?
No, I think that mine was the good sell. So I think the shaming tactic comes from the idea of you saying,
but you're the
this
one
is how
calling.
I hear it. What I hear is men are so fucking stupid they can't mitigate their own risk. So just check out, guys. You're too fucking dumb. And I think the opposite. I think men are super fucking smart, and we can definitely do something inside of the societal social field to change the conditionals for men.
Who has more legal power, men or women?
In which context? At the mercy of the system or at the mercy of changing the system?
All right. Who do politicians cater to, men or women?
They generally cater toward women and children's needs first. Yes.
Who does the legal system cater to, men or women?
Generally speaking, it's going to cater to the weaker sex and children. Yes.
Okay. Who does the media cater to? Men or women?
Yeah, same. I can just answer yes to all the institutions doing this.
Okay, so if an individual man is going to outsmart this billion-dollar system,
so they're too dumb to do it?
I would say they don't have power. I wouldn't say dumb, but I don't think
But don't men collectively have powers to overthrow entire systems via force doctrine?
Okay, but I mean, when you're talking in the abstract, that's like easy.
No,
right?
I'm talking in the instruct.
I want to go specific. So my producer, he's listening, right? So he's going to make a decision in the next 5 years about what he wants to do with his life, right?
Yeah.
And so he's listening. Now, what power does he have if a woman throws an abuse claim at him? What can he really do?
Yeah, so he can do the same thing that men have always done during any sort of claim for abuse. He can mitigate risk. You can do this via security cameras. You can do this via the Pence rule. You can do this via all sorts of various rules that men have instituted to protect themselves from false allegations of abuse. If you're talking about inside of long-term relationships, that's really hard for women to prove. Really hard for women to prove. Even marital rape is hard for women to prove. Those are not the things which men are getting tossed into jail for. They're getting tossed into jail, getting their lives ruined for false allegations, generally from strangers, not from women they're with long term.
That's just simply not true, because abuse allegations are brought up all the time in family court because it's based on a preponderance. It's not. You don't need evidence, so they can just say things. I mean, I worked on one case where she threw a rape allegation from the first night they met, and then 10 years later, she said that he raped her. Court took it. The case that she won custody.
Listen, it is the case inside a family court that women will make up all sorts of shit for the custody of children. Nobody's disputing that. What I'm talking about specifically is the charges of abuse, which generally happen. So in family court, what happens is most women are filing for divorce, not under an abuse claim, but under irreconcilable differences. And the amount of them who are reporting abuse in the relationships actually is not nearly as high as you're presenting. The amount of men who are high status who get their lives completely fucking destroyed by false allegations from strange women is extremely high, though, usually in the workplace, if they're in any way connected in the workplace. Or if it is the case that they're a high status man who goes on a date with a woman, that's when you start to see those accusations completely level men. I'm not saying that doesn't happen in the family court.
It does happen. It does happen in family court, correct?
Yeah.
So women can throw and what can he do if he gets a very feminist judge?
Yeah, he's going to get fucked. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so do you think he makes him stupid if he gets fucked? Like he's automatically stupid?
I think that but what's the prescription? The prescription would be to begin the process of changing family courts so that you don't have the feminist judges that still operate under the old rules of immediately goes to
tick. My producer, he's got to make a decision this year. He's got to. What's he going to do? He's going to do now. Should he bet that Andrew Wilson's going to fix the laws for him?
Should he stay alone for the rest of his life? Because if he ever gets married, the woman's for sure going to give him an abuse claim and throw him in prison.
I didn't say that.
Is that going to be good for his happiness?
I didn't say that.
I mean, that sounds like a terrible prescription. Yeah, if you listen to me,
I didn't say that. But see the way.
So let's compare it. Let's compare it.
The thing is,
Andrew Wilson, mitigate all risk possible.
Okay, so
and then Pearl Davis. Good luck, you're fucked. Yeah, I mean, that's the distinction.
But
right?
See what you're doing is you're making it seem like men have two options, which is sleep around or be married, right? That's kind of I don't know if that's what you mean, but that's what you're making it seem like. No. But there's a lot of people that are in like 2-year relationships with a woman. Sure. There's a lot of people that date casually, right? They just go on dates. They might sleep with 1 or 2, maybe more than that, women. And
well, that sounds like casual sex to me.
Right, but then they pick their favorite and they get into a relationship and then eventually get married. I mean, I'm sure, and I'm not trying to go personal, but I'm sure most people dated before like they met their previous like partners, their wife, right?
Sure.
So
yeah.
And so it's not really one or the other, right? It's not like degenerates and not. So when does someone become a degenerate? Like when does that line, like when are they beyond the point of return?
So when you hit this idea of like,
is it like
fallacious,
any sex outside of marriage?
Yeah. When you hit a fallacious threshold fallacy, like when does a thing become the thing, right? We know that there's degenerates. Can I give you the exact number of dicks a guy has to suck before he's... Well, that would be just one, I guess. Do I have to give you the exact number of chicks a dude fucks before he's considered societally a degenerate? I don't think I need to. I think that's pretty intuitive. We know what degeneracy looks like. You don't think so?
I mean, I know.
Okay, so
I
a guy...
say...
Okay, so here. I'll just pose it to you if you don't think so.
I mean, there's a lot of guys...
A guy is in a gangbang. He's in a gangbang, right? With it's him and 3 of his friends, and they're all fucking one chick. Is he a degenerate?
I mean, what is he? Is he doing those every week the rest of his life?
No, he just decided to go in and do it, right?
I don't tell men what to do in the bedroom. I think I prefer the don't ask, don't tell. Like I just don't. You can do what you want.
Yeah, well, I mean, I prefer not to have STDs floating out in society because people are getting in gangbangs in their privacy of their home, and the libertarian idea of like we're not going to govern it.
But that doesn't affect you. How does that?
Yeah, it affects me.
How does that affect you?
I live in this society. How does it not affect me?
You don't have an STD, right?
I have children. I have cousins.
Correct.
I have family. I have all sorts of people.
And that's actually what I was trying to get at. Is conservatives want men to save society for their children. And that's the point. You don't ask what's in it for them.
Wait a second. I'm sorry.
And that's the point.
Don't you want us to save society for men?
I think people need to make decisions based on the information they have about their own life.
Yeah. So
I am not. I'm going to finish and then you can go.
Go ahead.
I am realistic, and I think it's better to be prepared than be blindly optimistic. So, things I would personally prepare for. Your kids are probably going to your kids will probably go to school with women that do OnlyFans. That is probably going to happen.
Yep.
And it's better to prepare and have a plan than to
try to stop it.
I don't think it's effective to stop it.
Oh,
I don't think it's effective.
Well, I think it is effective to stop. Not only that, again, the framing is incorrect. It's not that conservatives are trying to...
Sorry.
Conservatives are not trying to save... I mean, maybe the TPUSA conservatives are trying to save a society for the sake of their children. But even if that was the case, like, good, that's good. But that aside, no. What I'm trying to do is save men in society. Men. I think men, the patriarchy, is the most necessary component to society's functioning. And so if you want to have men who are in a patriarchal role, who are governing society, then you're going to have to prescriptively move men towards that. That's the only way to do it.
Can a man...
So ultimately, it's like, hang on.
Okay, go ahead.
My turn now. So ultimately, from your like social bastardization of this whole thing, your framing continuously goes back to, well, conservative men want to save society for their children. Yeah.
Right.
And like
right.
good.
But what does the average man get out of that? And that's the point.
They get a society to live in.
Right. So I just want to know when these changes are going to happen.
Do you think men live in like bubbles in a forest, or do you think that they live in societies which are governed by social relationships?
Okay, so when are these changes going to happen? Like when?
Yeah, but answer my question first. Do you think that men live in isolated bubbles, or they live in a social dynamic society filled with interpersonal relationships?
The average man doesn't have many friends. He's like 3 or less, I think.
Yeah, but they have friends and they have family members, and they still have to engage in society. You have to go buy a fucking cheeseburger, right? They got to go buy a cheeseburger and not get pickles on it because some fucker doesn't speak
every
English.
Stat shows that men are actually checking out of society. So
yeah, that's bad though. Right? That's not good. Like we want to change that, right?
Right, but I would say it's pragmatic because they're realizing
pragmatism's bad.
Okay, well, I hope isn't a strategy, and what I think you're kind of trying to do is sell hope.
No,
and I think it's better
to. The pragmatic
argument
that you're making right now is like, guess what? No men would ever be in pain ever again if they all shot themselves in the head either, would they, Pearl?
That
would be the ultimate form of pragmatism.
I don't really think that's the same, but hey,
that's just pragmatism taken to its logical conclusion.
So
if you want to stop all suffering of men, they all go bye-bye. They're all dead. Now there's no more suffering of men. That's just silly, right?
I said men look at the facts and make a decision. And you can make a decision for yourself. I'm here to report the facts, and that's the same as shoot yourself. Okay. I mean,
no, that's not. No. You're making
totally
a conflation.
Fine. I mean, hey,
all you just
wait for the born again virgin, guys. That's totally going to get you. That's
made that
the best way for. That's what you said
You're
earlier.
just lying now. It's just reframing.
That is what
reframing and total bullshit. Never said, guys, wait for the born again virgin. In fact, I'm the one wrecking those fucking broads. What are you talking about?
Okay.
The thing I've never made any such prescription. It's always reframing.
Can I edit it here?
Because the thing is,
can I edit it where I asked you? I'm going to edit it earlier because you did say that. The way you would suggest men dated was to wait till marriage, even if the woman wasn't a virgin. You did say that.
Yeah, has nothing to do with born again virgins. It's just that's your pragmatism of a social mitigation for bad thing happening. That's it. It's all a matter of mitigation of risk. The idea that I said that you need to wait for a born again virgin is fucking absurd. Never said it. The reason you have to reframe this is because
what should I call them? Okay.
I'm advocating, hang on.
Right.
I'm advocating
wait for a woman that gave it to other men
advocating
for free?
for men's happiness, men's rights, men's health. And the only thing you can think of to do is to consistently attempt to reframe it into somehow I'm telling men to take some plunge with some fucking skank born again virgin. Fuck that. I'm talking about the mass mitigation of risk and the change to a system.
All right, guys. I know she slept with your ex-boyfriend. Okay. Or I know she slept with her ex-boyfriend.
Here comes the straw man that I would never prescribe ever.
Okay. Should men wait till marriage? You said yes, right?
Yeah, generally yes.
Even if the woman isn't a virgin.
If it is the case that you want men to do whatever they want, then if man really likes the woman,
don't do whatever you want. Do what Andrew says.
If it is the case,
my producer, he's taking notes now. He's gonna follow your plan.
Yeah. So if the man really likes the woman, and men should do whatever it is that they want, right? Then under your feasible system, a man should just fuck a chick because he feels like it, right? It's like that's untenable. 1 and 2. Yes, is it okay for a man to hold his own integrity intact and still be in love with a woman who has slept with a man before and have good outcomes? Yes, of course it is.
So now you're shaming men for wanting to sleep with women outside of marriage. And that's what I said. You're the one shaming men because you're the one saying that they're degenerates if they, even though statistically,
outcomes for men who maintain virginity and marry women with low body counts or virgins have really good outcomes.
I am super, you know what? You'd have to show me the study.
I am
super sure that when the woman is not a virgin and the man is, that is a recipe for disaster.
Listen, you're right that the risk
I know I'm right.
But it's still mitigated. It's still mitigated by the fact that if they have a lower body count, within the threshold of 1 to 3, it does mitigate risk significantly. Is it always best to have a virgin? Sure. But guess what? Unfortunately, in the world that we live in, that's probably not what you're going to get. You're probably not going to get a virgin who's a man either, but you can still mitigate all kinds of risk.
What does he get?
Why do you think
what does he get? Risk? What does he get? What does he get? He gets.
So one more time, I'll explain what men get out of this. Even though you keep asking the question, I answer it. They get what they've always
You have such
gotten.
bad answers. Like,
okay.
You're like, here's a bad deal, guys. Yeah. You got a bad deal before.
Yeah,
here's another
you're giving them a bad deal. Not only that, here, let me ask you this. What have men ever gotten?
Men, you've always gotten
one thing men have ever gotten.
You've always gotten it bad, so you should continue to accept
the question,
it bad.
Pearl. Don't dodge, Pearl. What have men ever gotten?
Men, translation, men.
You're not answering. No, notice, audience, she's not answering.
Notice, audience, he won't. Notice he's not answering either.
I did answer. I answered 15 times. Now here's my question to you. After I gave you the answer, what have men ever gotten?
Okay, 100 years ago, average 6 to 8 children. I believe this is off the top of my head.
So you only care about caring about children, not about men.
Wait, I'm not done. That's
caring about children, not about men, Pearl.
He got I'll finish. Okay, he got a virgin wife who had been with nobody else, who stayed with him for a lifetime.
Wait, I thought that women's behavior was ingrained and that they were always fucking men, according to you, and that the men just didn't know it.
They might have been. They might have been,
well,
but at least
it sounds like
if women did at the time, it was not as widely known as it is today. If women did, they may not have. I wasn't there. I'm not going to speak. I know,
but that's what you said last time. You said no, they were still screwing around even then. Well, it's just behind the backs, and nobody knew.
Well, I mean, there's genealogy records that show that women did step out. Like, there's people that have done like genealogy records, and like a lot of times it was the neighbor or something like that. I'm not going to go back and forth about 100 years ago because
what did men ever get, Pearl? What did they ever get?
But that doesn't matter. And that's the whole point. Right. You keep going back to 100 years ago. I live in the now. I don't care what happened 100 years ago.
You just asked me this question. You said, Andrew,
I know, but you keep deflecting.
I say, here's what men get.
But you keep deflecting and bringing up the past. You're like a woman bringing up the past.
I'm just making you answer the same question that I'm answering.
Who cares about 100 years ago?
Andrew, you're not giving me any answers. Here's my answer. Give me one, Pearl. Okay. What did they get? What did they ever get?
Right, I don't care about 100 years ago.
That's right.
I care about nothing.
You got nothing.
I care because you're talking about the past. What do they get today, Andrew? What do they get?
They get the same thing they've always gotten, which is a family, the thing that seems to make men the mostest happy. Right. Unless you can name something else that men were getting before that, and I'm all ears.
Do women stay today? Do women stay today? On average, do women stay today?
At lesser rates than they used to.
Okay.
By for sure they do.
Okay.
But if you're asking what men get, that's a different question.
But they don't get it. They don't get it.
Yeah, but a lot of men do get it. That's a lie. They do get it.
No, they don't.
A lot of men do. I just gave you the stats. And by the way, if you're talking about, again, even when it comes to guardianship, it's quadrupled. If you're talking about marriage in a Christian sense, 25% divorce, low body counts, even less.
Are more people getting married today or less?
Less. Okay. I'm glad. Less secularists are getting married. Good. Fuck them.
Okay.
Fuck them. I don't care if they get married or not.
Right, but this isn't a religious channel, right? Because you're trying to
peddle. I'm not saying it's a religious channel.
You're trying to peddle your religion, right? And that's kind of what you're
trying to peddle outcomes. Why do I care if secularist men who are hedonistic want to get married or not? It's irrelevant. The future belongs to those who reproduce, and it's not going to be those who don't get married because they go, well, the thing is that I don't feel like I'm getting anything that men haven't always gotten for this. And the one thing you could name, same thing I could name, they get children. When I said it, you said, well, Andrew, that's you promoting
who do the kids belong to?
Kids.
Who do the kids belong to?
Stop, Pearl, my turn.
Who do the kids belong to?
What you do, yeah,
who
my
do
turn.
The kids belong? You don't like the answer.
It's my turn.
Who do the kids belong to?
Yeah, you won't even let me answer.
Who do the kids belong to?
It's a one-word answer. Stop reframing. Let me finish the point.
It's a one-word answer. Who do the kids belong to?
I wasn't done talking before you interjected with your dumb opinion.
Who do the kids belong to?
Yeah, Pearl, one more time.
Can you answer? Can you do it? Can you do it?
Yeah. It goes to the state. Right now, the children belong to the state. Yeah, that's terrible. That sucks. But what did men?
So what did men get out of it?
The children belong to the state before they belong to the king. They belong to the king. Yeah, you say it's a spurt because you cut me off every 5 seconds.
What? Yeah, because you don't have a good answer. They don't get anything out of it.
I gave you the same answer you gave me, which is hilarious.
Right.
By the way,
but
same answer.
They don't get a family because women divorce.
Pearl, can you answer my question? Don't spurt.
What's your question?
Okay.
Can you not bring up history?
Pearl, can you answer my question? Don't spurt, Pearl. Stop spurging. Stop spurging. I'm just going to answer the question. Let me ask it before you start spurging. What have men ever gotten, Pearl?
I don't care. Ever. I don't care about history.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
He has to. Men today have to make decisions off of the information today, Andrew. It doesn't matter what they got. It's like, what do they get today? Yeah,
they get what they've always gotten.
Okay. Well, if you want to keep convincing men to wait for born-again virgins, it's totally fine. I hope.
Can you ever tell me where I told any man ever to wait for a born-again virgin?
Okay.
Why do you keep making that shit up? Like, why?
What do you want? What do you want to? Okay, you want men to wait for non-virgin women, correct?
No, I never said that either. I'm talking about the mitigation of risk. You said that twice.
You said that twice.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You can clip it, right? But I'll counter clip. You won't like what you see because I didn't say that. I'm talking about the mitigation of risk. And when you're talking about the mitigation of risk, it still is actually less risky. Yes.
Right.
Less risky.
I want to
Does
go
that
back
mean it's
to
optimal? No.
So you want men to find...
Hang on.
Okay,
you understand the difference between optimal and risk? Do you understand like risk mitigation versus optimal?
So you want men to find women with below what, a 3 body count? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, just less bodies better.
Okay, so what would you say should be the cap?
I mean, yeah, again, we're talking about risk mitigation.
Okay, sure.
You're asking for something which is a specificity, right?
Okay.
So how many, for instance, if I ask this question to you, how many women, or should you ever sleep with a woman who's fucked 100 men? Should a man ever do that?
Could you answer the question?
Yeah, but it's actually answering by showing you how fallacious the actual question is.
Okay.
So what you're saying is, Andrew, give me a threshold. I'm not here to give you a threshold. I'm here to tell you about the mitigation of risk. The less bodies, the better. Yes. Does that mean though that if you have a high body count woman, it can't work out? No. Okay. The risk is way higher.
How would men verify that?
Well, here's the thing. You asked me this last time. It was kind of funny, right? So they would verify it the same way they've always verified it. They would look at reputation. They would look at past history. They would talk with friends. And you know what's really interesting? I went back and I took a look at this. And it turns out that when men investigate these things and poignantly ask these questions, they actually do get a lot of these answers very quickly. You can actually verify this based on reputation.
Okay, so... if a woman had a past in a different city, how would the man know? Or she does something.
Especially with social media, families, big mouth sisters, big mouth friends, all the other ways that you would always verify.
But if she downloads a dating app, how would the guy know?
Yeah, I know, but you can endlessly reduce this hypothetical to the point where you can just continuously add variables. Like, what if a woman was in a forest and her plane went down? She was on a desert island for 3 days, and the news never broadcast it. Could she have slept with a man then? Yeah. But I'm saying that, again, when it comes to risk and mitigation, you can do investigation the same way women do with men, by the way, to find out their body count. And you can, in fact, suss out fairly quickly if they have a high one or not. Does that mean always?
Right.
No.
So you think most men can figure it out pretty easy, how many people she slept with?
Not how many precisely, but whether or not she slept with more than he's comfortable with, or has a reputation of lying about sleeping around, which would be red flags, right?
Okay, so you think that's pretty easy. So how would you can just ask around and then men will tell him?
No, well, here's the thing about women that's great, right? They never shut the fuck up. So the greatest thing about them is they like to narrate their lives, and they like to do that especially with their friends.
Right.
And women also like their friends like to cause trouble. If you start poking around inside of a woman's female circle, they start blabbing about all kinds of shit about exes, where they've been, where they haven't been. They do this constantly.
Okay, so I want to get back to because we never finished the step by step, so I'd really like to finish that. So you want men to wait for the non-virgin women, correct?
No, I don't. No.
So you want them to sleep together?
Not my position. Tell me what my position is.
You said that you wanted men to wait till marriage.
I said that would be more optimal for men's health to do X thing is not a prescription that they should do X thing. So just because it mitigates risk for you as a man to, if you fall in love with a woman, right, for her to have a low body count, that still mitigates your risk. It's not me prescribing that you go find a woman who's not a virgin and marry her. That's absurd. We're talking about the outcomes here, the pragmatic approach.
Okay, but practically, what percent of women do you think are marriageable? What percent?
That's hard to say. I don't know. I
Really?
mean, as a practicality,
This whole debate, and you didn't even think about this question at all?
No, I thought about the question, but it's a very difficult question to notate. How many exactly? Like, how many women have red hair? I don't know. How many women, you know, have red eye? I don't know the actual answer.
You've
to
interviewed
this.
so
but
many.
I still think that somewhere around at least 20-25% of eligible marriageable women within the element of marriageable men is a good distinct possibility they work out, because that's what the stats show me, that almost 60% of these marriages actually do work out long term if they're under the right conditionals.
Well, if they're religious, right?
No, that significantly increases it from 60%.
Okay. So you want men to find these 20. So the majority of women are not going to work, right? So you're saying to men, you might find out of 1 out of 4 women, you might get a wife.
No. I was talking about the totality of the population.
Okay, fine.
But if you insert risk mitigation for marriageable women, right, then your odds actually drastically increase.
You think 1 out of 4 women have a body count under 10?
No, I didn't say that either.
But you said marriageable.
But I mean,
so
I think
men should accept. Do you think men should accept more than 10?
Well, here, let's just.
Do you think men should accept more than 5? Well,
how many women have less than 3 body count?
Yeah, but I don't trust stats that women report their body count.
So now, whatever the data says, it's wrong too.
I mean, if women say it, yeah. Come on. If it's asking women about body count, come on, Andrew. You got to be realistic here.
Yeah, it looks like it's somewhere, the average of it is about 50% of women by the time they're marriageable age have less than a 5 body count. Yes, that's what I'm looking at.
You have been out of the dating market too long, Andrew.
This is the stats I'm looking at.
All right, guys.
Yeah. And now we're looking at marriageable age, which is going to be between the age of 19 and 29, right? So we're looking at marriageable age for children. Now, is that the case? I don't know if that's the case. But ultimately, who cares anyway? The truth of the matter is that even if it's damaged, no.
Who cares about body count?
That's not what I said.
Men
who cares anyway about the topic at the topic at hand? The case of the matter is that even if none of them right now were marriageable and they were all fucking skanks and they all had dozens of bodies, we would still be trying to move society towards a reform of such a system and not try to black pill and nihilism all. That would be stupid. Ultimately, when we look at men's happiness, they want to get married. Right?
Okay, fine. I want to get back to the step by step. You're happily married. Let's get to the step by step.
For what?
We're getting stuck at the waiting. So what's after that? So then you marry her.
I don't understand. What is the question you're asking me?
If you're giving a prescription, I want a detailed how to do it. So
what you do is you get a club and you walk over to a chick and you bash her in the fucking head and you take her back to your house and you bang her, right? That's a detailed step-by-step plan. Or did you maybe want to talk about viable prescriptions rather than Andrew gives dating advice, which has nothing at all to do with the conversation of moving men towards marriageability?
Yeah, but so if you want men to get married, you can't tell them how to get there? Really?
That's fucking stupid. What are you talking? Why would I need to be a determining factor for every individual man on earth for a step-by-step guide of how they get married? That's fucking retarded.
Okay, well...
that's literally retarded. Why would you even ask that?
My producer's on the market, 40-year-old guy in the Midwest. What should he do? There you go.
Lose weight.
Okay, then what?
I would start with that. Okay. No, I'm kidding. Look, I took a cheap shot because it was funny. I like the guy. I thought it was funny. I forgot
you met him.
Yeah. It was look, he's skinnier than me. I'm just joking with the guy. I was kidding.
Okay, right? Fine. Totally fine. Hit the gym. That's not bad.
I don't know what the intricacies of his life are. Every single individual is going to have a completely different...
So he should make the decision and not you, right?
No. Based on where people are in the distinctions of their life. Well, yeah, I mean, ultimately everyone's going to make their own decision, but hang on, stop. Yeah, no, I'm going to answer your fucking question. Each individual person on planet Earth is going to have a unique set of circumstances, which, because I'm not an omnipotent God nor psychic, have no ability at all to understand in a comprehensive way, but I can still, even though I know that I'm not going to be able to tell how everybody on the road drives, I can still tell you that a stop sign fucking works.
Right. So if that's true, why do you talk like one?
Like what?
Like you talk like you're the God that knows like the best way for people to live.
I've never done that one. In fact, I just told you that I would not sit here and Google
you call people degenerates. You call people degenerates if they don't live exactly how you live.
No, I'm not asking them to live exactly how I live. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Right. I mean, okay. Yes. If you're
I just think people are tired. I just think people are tired of getting preached at, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people are tired of you enabling the degeneracy of homosexuality because you won't give a prescription, right? Like,
what power do I have to stop them?
You have the power of the vote, the power of influence. And not only that, here's the other thing that's so funny about this, right?
It's like, what power do I have?
And when you ask for, hang on, real quick before we get to that, when you ask for these like detailed, give me a step-by-step guide, Pearl, you have a job, you're a podcaster, right? Give me a step-by-step guide for how everybody on planet Earth gets to work.
As a podcaster?
No, just as anything.
Well, I don't know how to do anything. I know how to do podcasting.
No, just how does every person on planet Earth get to work? Every one of them.
I could tell you how to do a podcaster.
Just ever. Anywhere, at any circumstance,
I wouldn't say that's
time.
Really the same, but okay.
It's the same. You're asking me to write a prescription for every single individualistic circumstance on Earth for every man. That's insane.
Well, I know, but I gave you, like, what more information? You could ask more questions, and I could give you specific answers. I don't even have to use my producer.
I mean, why? But like, so first of all, I'm not a dating coach.
If I was gonna give a quote, like, if I was gonna do the podcasting one, like, I would have a set of questions that I could easily give you a step by step.
Oh, so you can't tell. You can't just tell based on general circumstance, but you need to have individual experiences.
So ask me a few questions, and then I can give you an example of a guy.
That's my whole point. So when you ask me for a prescription for every man on Earth,
I didn't say every man on Earth.
Individually ask each of them a bunch of questions.
I didn't say every man on Earth, but we can do a hypothetical.
So that
we could do a hypothetical, guy. Then why don't we do a hypothetical? It should be easy. Ask me a few questions.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Again, I'm not okay. So I'm trying to answer. I'm not a dating coach. I've never said that I was a dating coach. But the thing is, I don't build highways either, but I sure know when the highway's fucked up, Pearl.
Okay. So you don't have any...
No, I've answered every single question. You don't understand how fallacious even the arguments you're making are, but how absurd the questions become when they're reduced.
It's absurd for me to, if you're giving a prescription, which I'm not, but you are, it's absurd for me to ask questions of how to get there.
No, you can ask whatever question you want, but just understand that when I equate it to, you're trying to get me to give a prescription for every man on Earth, which I stated multiple times, and then you change it to, well, this one individual man, based on his unique set of circumstances, it's going to change and vary from person to person to person to person. It's like asking me, what kind of car should a man drive based on his unique set of circumstances? I don't fucking know.
I mean, okay, so did you meet my dad when you were here? Did you meet him? I don't know if you did.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
So my dad,
know
he's worked in.
Okay,
you might have maybe didn't. He's worked in software for like 30 years. He's a really pragmatic guy, right?
Yeah.
And the equivalent of what you're saying is like, if you had an opinion on his software breaking, I mean, it's cool. And then you say, oh, well, this is what you should do with the software. And he would say, okay, well, how do I do it? And then you say, well, I can't give you an answer, and that like, he would just think you're an idiot.
Oh, well, really?
And it's the same.
So if a person was on YouTube and was like, "Hey,
and I wouldn't. Really I know what you're gonna like. Yeah, I know what you're gonna try to equate it. So and that's kind of what you're doing. You're saying
YouTube should have a live chat. Yeah. Do you know how to put one in? No. Well, then you shouldn't tell them that they should have a live chat.
I just, in my opinion,
that is literally stupid.
My opinion is you've just kind of been out of the dating game too long.
Maybe.
And I think you would get eaten alive. Like, I think if you believe that half of women have 3 bodies, I don't know how you believe that for doing
That's not
whatever.
What I said.
I know, but you're
literally
citing,
not what I said. Why do you keep framing
the body,
everything I said?
Fine. The body count stats that you cited would be so ridiculous to any guy actually.
They may
dating.
be. Listen, right. They may be. But I literally said just based on what I personally glanced.
I know. But I don't even know how you believe them with like being on whatever all the time.
I didn't say I believed them.
Okay.
Like I never said any of this.
I don't know if the best approach is I don't know if your prescription is working in the modern world. I think it's going to leave a lot of guys frustrated.
Well, that's great. Pearl, do you have any prescription?
However, I do.
Do you have any prescription at all?
As I've said, I don't tell men how to live.
No, you have none. How do you criticize anybody for anything? You have nothing to give, nothing to offer anybody.
Well, what I do is I do report on the facts and the trends and where I see things going. I'm in the business of prediction.
Yeah, that's fine to be a newscaster.
That's what I do, right?
Yeah,
so
you can be a newscaster.
I do that.
But then how can you criticize anybody's odds?
I do the call-in shows.
Yeah.
Well, I don't criticize if you say this is a way you can do it or you could do it that way.
You mean all the things that I just said for risk mitigation?
But when you're saying if you don't live how I live, you're a degenerate.
Never happened.
That's what you insinuate. You can keep saying. You can
I will specifically say like homosexuality is degenerate.
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
But if a guy chooses to live life on his own terms and not your terms, you insinuate that there's something wrong with them.
If a man decides to live a life of promiscuity and drugs, I think he's a degenerate. Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Right. But I mean, this is all kind of like, I mean, come on. Were you a virgin on your wedding day? Like, come on.
Never said I was.
Yeah,
I was also deeply steeped myself in the degeneracy of promiscuity.
I know.
It's no secret.
But so the way it comes across to a lot of people is I had my fun, but you can't. And that's how it's going to come off to people.
I see.
And I am somehow morally superior. Because
you've ever done anything wrong, so I also smoke and tell my kids not to smoke. What a scumbag! I can't believe it. Why would I do that?
Well,
why would I
that's totally
smoke
fine with your
and
kids.
also tell my kids not to? I also tell your kids not to smoke.
It's totally fine with children.
I would tell your kids not to smoke.
But these are adult men. Like they don't need to be nagged, right? You're like turning into a woman where you're nagging them.
Nobody's the only one who's nagging them is you because you're trying to knock down every single societal prescriptor possible to help them.
That's not what I said. I said if men want to try,
it is.
If men want to try your way, I have no problem with that. You can try it. I don't think it's pragmatic in the modern world based on what I've seen. But who am I to tell a guy how to date?
What is pragmatic in the modern world? Can you tell me that?
I think it's tough.
That's not a fucking answer. It's not pragmatic. Right. Well, what's pragmatic? I don't know.
Well, I think most men can come up with their own solutions better than me, a YouTuber.
Then how can you make a claim that anything I say is not pragmatic when I say, well, then what is pragmatic? And you say, I don't know.
I wouldn't predict that it would work. I could give my opinion, right?
Okay, so what is that?
But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to label adult men as degenerate if they don't live according to my personal morality.
So what is the most pragmatic thing men can do? What is it?
I think the most pragmatic thing that men can do is look at the facts and make a decision based on the information he has about his own life. I think you
mean exactly what I have been saying the entire time.
No, but you say that you have the answers, and I don't think you do. Because I think
what answers did I say I had?
I think that the prescription you gave of a step-by-step of how to get to marriage would not work in the modern
What
dating
prescriptions
market.
did I give for that?
You gave a prescription on waiting for a woman that does not wait.
No, I didn't give that as a prescription. I only gave it as a contrast of outcome for men who go and hook up with those women and don't get married having worse outcomes. Yeah. That is not a prescription that you should do the thing, Pearl, for the 30th time.
Okay, well.
It's just both things bad, one thing worse.
Right, but the way you're talking, it's like you're the ultimate morality police of what's good and bad.
Great. Give me a single moral prescription that I've given. A single one.
And well, you insinuated that men are degenerates for what they do in their sex lives. Like, I don't think Donald Trump's a degenerate, even though he's been married 3 times.
I think he was a degenerate.
I don't think so. I think he made the most. I don't think so.
So then I just want to make sure I got this right. Any sexual behavior men engage with, you don't believe is degenerate.
I think men are responding to the rules that women made.
Women, yes or no would be great. Yes or no would be great.
I gave you an answer.
Yes or no? Is there anything men can do sexually with people that you find degenerate?
Men
can they fuck a dog? If they fuck a dog, are they degenerate?
Men are responding to the rules that women made.
So if a man fucks a dog, can we call him degenerate?
Yeah, that's just gross.
Okay, can we at least say that's degenerate?
I mean, I would just say it's disgusting. Like, that's nasty.
But not degenerate. You're still not willing to call that degenerate?
I mean, if you want to like be the moral,
if a man grabs another man and fucks him up the hairy ass, that's not degenerate?
If you want to essentially like act as a preacher, it's totally fine. I just think people are tired.
What's the preaching? There's no preaching. I just asked you a question. I've never preached on this channel ever. I'm still not preaching. I'm just offering real world solutions under the same very idea.
I'm totally.
So my question
men are gonna totally.
Can you at least say that a man who fucks a dog is a degenerate?
That's disgusting. I'll call that a degenerate. Fine.
Okay, fine. Fucking finally, you get caught. But a man who fucks another man up his hairy asshole is not.
I mean, I just don't care if he does that. That's
is that a degenerate or not?
I mean, that's gross, but
you don't know. You don't know if that's degenerate.
Look, I'm just not here. I'm not here to tell men what to do in their sex lives. I think people are tired of getting policed, and like men from the time they're really young.
That some men who fuck dogs are tired of getting policed.
That's not what I'm saying. Like men from a young age are shamed for their sexuality. They're from a super young age. They're told they're not like they're wrong for watching porn. They're told they're wrong for wanting to have sex with women. They're told they're wrong for approaching. I don't think we need another person telling them they're wrong.
Yeah, this is great. So
they're wrong for. They're wrong. So let me get this right.
All the things you think have bad outcomes for men.
Stop interrupting me. Stop.
Yeah. All the things you think have bad outcomes for men. We should still promote.
Andrew, like I'm trying to be nice, but like you're on my show. Can you stop interrupting me, please?
Yeah, you interrupt as much as I do, if not more.
Okay. I don't think that's true, but it's okay.
And by the way, who's on whose show right now, really?
You're on, you are a very big YouTuber, okay? You're very big. You're very famous, okay? So, but I just think men from a young age have been shamed for their sexuality. I don't think they really need someone else doing it. And it just comes off as like a holier than thou when you're constantly calling them degenerates for responding to the environment that women made. I don't think it's pragmatic for most men to wait until they're 30 to have sex. I don't think that, and most women don't select most men until they're in their late 20s, early 30s. Go ahead.
So let me get this right, just to make sure that I have this correct. Pearl Davis, don't want to govern the behavior of men. How dare you call men who engage in sexual promiscuity degenerates, even though that would be, you governing the behavior of me, man, right? Pure hypocrisy on display, yes?
Well, I can't control it. I can't control anything they do.
Yeah, but so somehow you can give a prescription that I shouldn't be doing that, but I can't give a prescription for what other people should be doing. Well, you can.
You totally can, but it's just
But you just think people are tired of it. They're tired of men saying this is really bad for men to do for their own health. Yes.
I would say that men are pretty tired of being nagged for their sexuality in general.
Oh, well, I mean, that's terrible that men get told that they're not allowed to have anal sex with other men because they're degenerates. That's just terrible, bro. Somehow I think that men, though, by and large, are going to agree with me on this, that degenerate behavior and honorifics in men is something which men generally tend to steer clear of, especially in honor cultures, which is the culture that we come from.
Yeah.
I don't think that has anything to do with religion at all.
I don't think what you're selling is a good sell. So, I think
I'm selling something at least, right? Okay. You're not selling anything, just descriptors. It's
totally fine.
You're like a news broadcast, like the Red Pill News broadcast.
I do the news, it's fine.
All right.
But yeah, I don't think men are gonna really watch this and think this is a great thing. I'm getting a ton out of this because there's no selling point. You get a ex-ho. That's like pretty much what you're saying. Or maybe a girl that's fucked 2 other dudes.
Literally not saying any of that. In fact, the opposite. In fact, I'm trying to initiate inside any sort of reform so that we can get away from that. But the second I do, you say, how dare you preach about degeneracy?
Okay.
It's like, well, wait, you can't have high body counts if they're not fucking them, Pearl. Right. And they can't have high body counts if they're not fucking. One thing called social shame, which leads to degeneracy, is that.
I don't think anything you're saying is very realistic. I think it kind of sounds like
you just switch between these 2 arguments. Is it that I call them degenerates, or that you think it's not realistic?
Well, I think there's 2 parts to it. The one is that you're shaming men for their behavior and their sexuality, and 2 is that I think that none of the changes that you're talking about really are realistic anytime soon, and so men have to make decisions on marriage today, and unfortunately, the value prop you're saying just isn't great. Because at the end of the day, men's kids don't belong to them. Women have more power in the media, in the state, and in society in general. And so I don't really see that men rushing to sign up to get married.
Great. So tell me again, what's the most pragmatic thing men can do right now then?
It depends on the guy. I can't speak about men as a collective.
I can't see. Okay.
Yeah.
The most the most pragmatic thing that men can do, I don't know. Depends on the guy. Andrew, walk me through dating. Well, I don't know. It depends on the guy.
Because you were giving a prescription, but it's okay.
Not only that,
it's okay. I do have another. I do have another guest coming, so I do have to go.
Yeah. But I got one last thing, just real quick. Okay. To summarize this,
I'm gonna send it. I'm listening. I'm just sending.
Yeah. My interest is in men's health and men's welfare and in men's well-being. Ultimately, I've given nothing but great prescriptions towards that. You've given nothing towards that. Instead, you just offer epistemic nihilism over and over and over again. And you can't actually refute any of the points without telling me what I should be doing. It's like a performative contradiction on its face.
Okay.
Now, listen, here's the thing that's funny about this. I won't go on a monologue for a closer here. I did enjoy the conversation ultimately. And I know as heated as this got, I want my entire chat to know, and yours too, I don't have any problems with Hannah, never will. I don't have any problems with Pearl Davis, all right? I've always respected the work that she does, but sometimes this kind of like in-house slugfest is necessary and good for all sides. And I still consider her to be a friend. I know that this was a very heated debate ultimately, but I don't have any bad blood towards you. I just want to let you know that.
I have a lot of bad blood towards you. I'm never talking to you again.
That's fair.
I'm just kidding.
That's fair. Anyway,
hold on.
I think that this sort of thing is good ultimately.
Yeah. Have you debated who have you debated in the red pill space?
I don't know. A lot of them.
I was just curious. Okay. Well, thanks for coming on. We have Amorous Husbands on next. Do you know who that is?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's gonna be wild. I'll do a raid over to your channel too.
Okay.
Because that's gonna be a fucking wild one. But look, really, there's no bad blood. I know that my job is to debate my worldview the best I possibly can. Sometimes that has created conflict with people like you who are friends of mine in the past. I definitely don't want that, and I am very much a supporter of the types of work that you do with the descriptors that you put out. I think that they're golden, many of them. I've used many of those stats myself. So there's no bad blood here. Never think for a second there is.
Okay. All right. Thanks for coming.
Yep.
Do you know what? The funny thing is, I always am hesitant to use your first name because I forget yours is public.
Yeah, no.
Because so many people in this space are like not public. So I always have to like think about it first. I'm like, wait, no, I don't have to call you the Crucible. Thanks for coming, Andrew.